a percent equation. So when we're writing a percent equation, especially from a word problem, we may see words like what is, say, 30% of 80, okay? And those words tell us how to write the equation. So when we see the word what it's asking for is a variable. And a variable can be any number, and we usually use a letter to represent the unknown number, okay? Most often, we use X and Y for these. So remember when we did our proportional relationship equations, we had Y equals RX. Y, R, and X are variables. So it's a letter like X or Y used to represent the unknown number. Let me change the color of that so we can see it a little bit better. Or maybe not. Okay, I was going to change the color, but I can't find it right now. When you see the word is for a word problem with percents, that means equal to, okay? So the word is always going to mean equal to. Of means we are going to multiply. Okay, so if you see the word of, you are going to multiply. What is 30% of? So 30% times the number. And when you see a percent in your word problems, you are going to use its decimal. Okay, remember we're always going to write our percents as decimals. To change a percent to a decimal, we are going to divide by 100, okay, because all percents are out of 100. So to change your percent to a decimal, you divide it by 100. And what this does is move the decimal point 2 places to the left. So move 2 places to left. Can you guys not see my screen? Because it is shared. Okay, you can. Yeah. Okay, let me try it again. Nathan, can you see it now? Okay, good. So again, when you see the word what, that means we're going to use a variable. When you see is, that means equal to. When you see of, that means we're going to multiply. And when you see a percent, we are going to use the percent or the decimal that represents the percent. And to change percent to a decimal, we divide by 100, which really means we're just moving the decimal 2 places to the left. Smaller. Any questions about that part of it? All right, so let's do a couple practice problems, and then we'll talk about the rest of what you're doing today. So we have our two practice problems down here. The first one says, what is 15% of 350? So this right here tells me, and I'm just going to use my pen, what remembers we're going to use a variable. So we're just going to choose a letter, let's say X, to stand for what? Is, remember, if you see the word is, that means equal to. Percent, when we see a percent, we're going to change it to its decimal. So what is 15% as a decimal? As a decimal. So remember, we're going to divide by 100 and move that decimal 2 places to the left. So if my decimal is here, 0.15, right? So we changed it to a decimal. Of tells me to multiply. And then 350 is just going to stay the same. So our equation, if I rewrite this without the arrows, is x equals 0.15 times 350. So if I solve x equals 0.15 times 350, what number do I get that is 15% of 350? What is x equal to? $52.5. So x equals 52.5. Any questions about how I got that equation? Okay. Any questions about how to solve that equation? Okay. So what I want you to do right now, we have this second one here. 18 is 20% of what number? What I would like you to do is type in the chat what you think that equation would look like. How would you write it using this up here? 18 is 20% of what number? I want you to tell me the equation. So what would the equation be? Well, yes, Yariel, that is how you would solve it, but I want the equation, just like we did on this first one here, where I took the words and translated it into an equation. I need you to do that on this second one. Hmm. Gabriel, where did you get 5 and 0.18? I don't see 18% and I don't see 5 in our problem. Take a look at it again. You're very close, Monica. You forgot to do something with your percent. What do you need to do with your percent? Right, Yariel, that is exactly correct. So whenever we write this as an equation, we're going to start at the beginning, and it tells me 18. Is means equals. We have to change 20% to a decimal, which Yariel told us is 0.20. And it says of what number, so times an unknown number, so we'll just use x for that. So 18 equals 0.20 times x. All right, and up a few comments, Yaria told us to solve, we need to divide both sides by 0.20. Why do we need to divide by 0.20? Well, you are right. That is what we would do. Since our percent is with our variable, in order to break them apart, because they want to stay attached to one another, in order to break them apart, we have to do the opposite operation. And the opposite operation of multiplication is division. So we divide by 0.20. And to keep things balanced and proportional, we divide this side by 0.20. And what number do you get for x? What is 18 divided by 0.20? Mm-hmm. It is 90. So 18 is 20% of 90. 52.5 is 15% of 350. All we are doing is trying to figure out what the unknown number is. Okay. Any questions about how to write the equation on the second one? Any questions about why we divided this time? Okay. So let me stop sharing this. All right, so whenever you click on the weekly lessons and go into the module, you are going to see, if you did not open it up already, the Doodle Notes file that we just went over partially. There is a little bit more on it that you are going to have to do. Let me see if I have it open. So we did this part of it right here. You need to finish the other side. So you're going to do the start with what percent of 145 is 35, and do that equation and work your way down the right side. When you finish with that, you are going to have this practice file to complete. There are only 4 problems, and you need to read through the word problem, give me the percent equation, and then solve and tell me what the answer is. So the first one wants to know the sale price of the sweater. So I'm looking at a dollar amount. And pay attention to the wording. Like the second one says, what is the total with sales tax? That tells me I'm probably going to go over 100% on this one. Okay. Any questions about your work for today? Okay. Nathan, I see you still have your hand raised there. Do you still have a question, or is that from before? Oh, did you click the raise hand button again? Okay. Do you have a question, or is it just because it won't go down? Okay. All right. If there are no questions, you can go ahead and get to work. This will be open until 10:15.